Hey there, Michelle, with another segment of inspiring interviews. And today I'm so excited to have Demetri here. He is a resident here at Cielo Sober Living, and he has what I would say a very inspiring story. Hence the name of my show, Cielo Spiritual Foundation, Inspiring Interviews. You can find me on 4001. So Cielo Spiritual Foundation 4001 Inspiring Interviews on my YouTube. But right now we're on Facebook Live, by the way. So we're going to share a little bit of your life story. And you know, it's kind of like a real-time meeting you would get somewhere with someone who, in my humble opinion, has been through a lot. You have been through a lot, and some people, I mean, like they say, God only gives you what you can handle, but I gotta say, your God must feel like He can handle a lot, because I've heard a lot of stories, but yours is really unusual. In that, there's been a lot of stuff done that's been, I would say, very adverse and very challenging. So, you know, first of all, just like if you can share with our viewers a little bit about your background, like where did you come from, and what was your childhood like growing up briefly, and you know, like what did you know, what impacted you most in your childhood that you know you feel played a part. We'll just start there.
Well, first of all, my name is Demetrius, and yeah, it's been my life story is very unique. My mother had me when she was, I believe she was 15 or 16, and during that pregnancy, as I became aware of much later in my life, she was given a lot of different things that would hopefully cause her to miscarriage or lose the baby. But as you see, I'm here. My stubbornness, my will, and God's will to help me overcome all that, I'm here. Since my birth was in San Bernardino, California, but I was raised in LA, back and forth between both counties. My life has been one of a lot of adversity, struggles. Best friend drowned. We were 8. 1 week later, I almost drowned myself, but I was saved. My other friend at 15 overdosed of heroin in my arms. And then at the age of 11, I was almost kidnapped, and I survived and got away from that. You know, so it's been a lot of things with death, a lot of things with struggle and hardships, but obviously something protected me, watched over me. You know, I lived the gang life, I did the drug life, but I also boxed. And that, I think, was one of the things my uncle training me and boxing with me, spending time with me, helped me to know what I wanted and didn't want. And I was able to overcome a lot of things on my own, but not necessarily on my own. I always believe a higher power helped me. But as far as human beings, I took bits and pieces of people, advice. My grandmother, rest in peace, she used to seminar in Choctaw, helped me with gardening. So the humbleness of learning those things about gardening and life, those things helped me from becoming just angry and bitter in life. My life with law enforcement, you know, juvenile halls and placements, you know, for some things I did do, many things I didn't do. The journey has always been a lesson. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm not a saint, I'm not an angel, but I do have a resilience, I do have a will and a motivation to overcome hardship and struggle. My latest and last, you know, I did 33 years on death row.
That's outrageous. Can you repeat 33 years?
I got locked up in 1992 for murder and alleged attempted robbery that happened in San Bernardino County. despite my innocence, despite the wrongfulness of my arrest and my conviction, the system held me unjustly.
Unjustly. So, can you explain to the viewers like that how you got free from jail and how you proved while in jail that in fact the decision was a mistake and wrongly and you literally got to be freed and literally proved that you were innocent. And can you say that you were innocent?
Oh, I've always maintained my innocence, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I've never wavered about that.
Like, why? How in the world were you mistaken for doing something that intensely wrong?
Arrested in the general area of where the crime happened at, on a payphone. They conveniently fit the description. Black man, on a payphone. Description, despite description being something totally different, they conveniently arrested me. And despite evidence that they had or at their disposal or didn't have, they find a way to make it free. They find a way to keep witnesses hidden or keep witnesses from coming forward. And this is not just at the hands of the DA. This is also at the hands of some defense attorneys who don't necessarily fight for you because they're going to get paid one way or another, whether they fight for you or they don't. And when you don't have money, you don't have that lucrative support and financial backing and status, you fall victim to the system and you spend many, many years behind the walls before you ever get out, if you ever get out.
What makes your case different? Because I'm pretty sure there's other cases like that in jail right now. What did you do that was different from the rest that you actually got to be a free man today?
What makes my case very different is that my resilience and my will to never ever doubt or ever give up on the fact that I would be free, and the fact that a law changed in California, which was called the felony murder rule, felony murder law, that if you went to actual killer, that you could file this petition, this motion, to get yourself free. Because not only was I accused of the crime, was another individual allegedly who they said committed this crime. Now, I filed the petition on my own with the help of another prisoner that was on death row with me. I submitted it, despite lawyers not wanting me to file it. But I was like, well, I only have one life, and they can kill me once. So I filed it. And it took me 6 years. A law firm along the way came on board out of San Francisco to help me perfect it. And in 2023, I won, but I didn't get released because the DA wanted to appeal that ruling. And in 2024, the courts finally said enough was enough, and I was set free as far as being guilty of the murder that I was vacated. But what happened is they kept attempted robbery in place despite both going hand in hand and having lack of evidence for that robbery to be in place. They kept it in place so that I couldn't sue. I couldn't clearly vindicate my name and myself in this crime. So I attempt to sustain myself as best I can, attempting to find a job, attempting to find schooling, which I enrolled in school.
Yeah, tell us about that. That really has become a big supportive blessing in your even getting to be at Cielo sort of living, actually.
Well, the frustrations of doing such a long time and getting out here, not having ID, not having certain things to help you get a job, and then sometimes the idle mind of sitting around doing nothing. So I said, well, let me attempt to go to school. I never believed in college.
I love that.
Yeah, I never believed in college in the sense for me going. I believed it for other people, But I was,
it's good for them, not for
yeah,
me.
but
What, you changed your mind?
well, because I felt like this. Life was my university. Life was my college. Life lessons has been
That's
my
true
teacher,
too. That's
and
true
I've been
too.
his students.
But there's more.
And I just wanted the opportunity to not deny myself, to go to a campus and really find out what it is that it could provide for me, like I might provide to the college,
Nice.
as well. And
Right.
what has happened is, by me taking them steps in that measure, it has opened doors to meeting professors, meeting other students that have taken to my doing spoken word, to some of my poetry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you do the whole spoken word thing.
Yeah, I do spoken word.
I love
I do poetry.
So
I
it's
do
helped
art
you
work.
cultivate yourself, essentially.
Absolutely.
Meet new people and be inspired and be an inspiration.
It has given me a growth and an open-mindedness, even more so than I always had, about college and about the opportunities that has led to this moment in day and time.
And actually being a student, scholarship to you to get to come here.
Yes, it's definitely.
Essentially. Well, through the Jewish Foundation, but still, because you're a full-time student, which I think is incredibly respectful. I'm a big advocate for education. I've kept going back to school. I was going back to school in my 40s for a master's. That's unusual, but we never stop learning. I think it's great. I mean,
Yeah, and that's funny that she mentions that, because I'm not as young. I went in on the 24th, and my birthday was just last week, Tuesday, and so I turned 50. I'm in my 50s. I turned 59, so it's never too late. You never can give up on your dreams or aspirations.
No.
And like I said, I was in another sober living, and that time ran its course, and a friend who I have love for, care for dearly, vouched and advocated for me, and we took a chance, allowed.
That this place was good. That's,
that this place was, would be a good fit for me, and
Yeah.
so me and her being in the same program, just she was in the girls' house and I was in the men's house, but her time ran a course, and she ended up over here, and so by that's why I say nothing happens by accident. It just, the universe, the divine, whatever you believe, allow for us to come back together and to come to this moment in time.
Yes,
And,
yes. She works for me now. She's awesome. I know her. Yeah, Maria.
So it's a beautiful thing. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful fit. It's an opportunity for me to just take the time to reflect. I'm a little more distance from where I was at when I became comfortable to, from being in Palm Desert and now over here in Cathedral. But those challenges are not things that are preventative from me still making the growth and the steps that I need to take and make. It's just a challenge.
Ooh, the stage is really kicking
So-
in. I have a request actually for the viewers. Let me put this aside because it's very strong. Can you do some spoken word for us today?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a classmate at USM, actually, the college I went through for spiritual psychology, and he was really good with spoken word, actually. And we used to throw parties, sometimes, class parties, and he would do what he does with spoken word. I was so moved by it because I feel like, in the way that when I do sound healing, like it feels like a space where God just flows through you, which is so beautiful. You just allow like your alignment with Creator to move through you and come out. So poetry, essentially, and it's intuitive because it's in the moment usually, of the nowness, and you get moved by the moment in God's grace, and your experiences clearly, and it's part you and God, right? So, okay. That said, no pressure. Was that a pretty good description of what you could say is spoken word?
In my opinion, rap and other music comes from spoken word. It comes from writing. It comes from the feel of music. It comes spiritually to me because when I write and I speak on things, I allow it to divinely just come to me, and I say it as it is.
Yeah.
I don't too much edit. I speak the truth. I try to be truthful in what I know that the people need, what
Yeah,
the medicine.
I love that. Beautiful.
that-
Okay. That said, what genre, what topic might you like to speak on right now?
This is, I'll just say this.
Okay.
I don't pick one thing or another, but I'll
Okay.
allow it to come.
Okay.
As you view me and you see me, and you may not know who I am, but I'm introducing myself to you. You allow yourself to see me for transparency of who I am right now. You may not know my past, and you may not know what my future might be, but you do know my moment I have right now as I talk to you and you view me. See, understanding that as I sit here in this chair, sharing myself with you, you allow to feel the vibrations of me and getting to know me. See, the divine has allowed for this day to be. See, it is Tuesday as I sit with Michelle, who has provided this house and home for me, and others, understanding that we are one collective and one body and one drumbeat and one heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Understanding that the adversities and the struggles that I have faced, the resilience and the will that I have within me have allowed me to overcome. It is not to say that the challenges will not come, but I can tell you that at each one I face, I am a winner and a champion, and I will remove them from my path to receive. Understanding that my mother did not live to see me be free from death row and died in 2023 on Valentine's Day. But I can tell you that the umbilical cord of a mother and child is forever connected, so she is always with me. And I can tell you, as many are not here with them, but when you look in my eyes, you see their eyes. When you look at my smile, you see their smile. So I live and breathe for all those that may not be here physically, who still may be behind those walls fighting for their freedom, you see. Understanding that this fight was not just for me, but for the many voices that are not having been heard. Those who have mental issues because of some type of disability they have to comprehend, to utilize certain things. I am the voice that speaks for those who have been silenced. You cannot extinguish my fight or my fire that lives within me. For I am divine light because God has set me free.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's very moving what you said about having a voice for those that can't speak, you know. It's so important for us to be able to get to do that. I mean, it's really it's an honor, isn't it, though? Like, you know, to be able to be a leader, to be able to represent more than just you, but like an entity of people that may in fact also need the hope that you leave with, having completed what you set out to do, you know, which is show the truth, you know. And sometimes the truth isn't always there so obviously for people, and you have to make it apparent. And the case with the law, it can be complicated, I guess.
Very.
Yeah, I've heard so many stories, and because though they're there to protect and serve, there can be confusions and all kinds of just with so much to on their plate. Yeah, it's important for the people to have a voice and to speak their truth and have a chance. And I think, you know, that's really what democracy is about anyway, you know, like,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's important.
I want to say this to the people, whoever's listening, or whoever this may get you. Do not allow for the haters and the naysayers to ever define you. Do not allow for anything that gets in your path to block you from your blessing. All you must do is look down and see what it is that tripped you up or became in your way, and remove it so that you can move forward and you can reach the goal and destiny that is meant for you to. Do not let others and their negativity and toxicity deny you your blessing and your growth and that light that shines within you. See, I can tell you that it wasn't just my fight of my own will and desire. It's because I know that I had an army of entities, energies, the divine, the ancestors, whatever you believe, that helped fight with me to bring me to this point. Because I had a death sentence, and that is exactly what that was, an intent to murder me by the state. But something greater said no, that is not going to be his case, that we will free him, and I was free. And here I am, though I'm free now, I am in this fight to clear my name and to have a life of prosperity. And whether I obtain that financially by them paying me for the wrong conviction and clearing my name, I would be rich within my spirit and within my mind and my actions. So no matter what, I will hold on to that conviction of me fighting for truth and fighting for and standing for those who cannot stand for themselves. So I'm already rich and wealthy. And though I do fight to have that materially, but I know that my spirit and my soul, I'm already rich. So those words I tell you,
Beautifully
do not
said.
let nothing hold you back or hold you down.
That's beautiful. So, what are you studying in school right now?
I'm actually studying kinesiology, which is another form of yoga about the body, because I believe that the body is our temple, and it's a form of us healing from aches and pains and things that we go through growing up doing sports and just whatever. And it's just a way for me to have meditation, to have a time to reflect and to heal my body with own aches and pains that I've gathered over the years. And I'm studying anthropology, as well as culinary sanitation.
Oh, fun.
So it's courses that I'm just taking to challenge me versus things of the comforts. Because I'm an artist, I love to draw, I love to do other things, and I could have took those courses, but I'm just doing something, that I have some form of a like to and a passion for. So yeah.
Beautiful. Great. It's, and it's so enriching and cultivating to have those learnings and teachings and skill sets for yourself. Culinary is so much fun. Oh my goodness. Even if you never did anything with it other than cook for yourself, it's great.
Food is
it's an art.
Yeah. Food, like water, is needed. And so what we eat is important. What we drink and consume is important. So it's about trying to be healthy and healed and well, physically and internally. So that's why I took those courses. And just understanding life. Anthropology, archaeology is about understanding life. Things that the past to the moment to the present to the future. And that's what it is for me about taking these courses and opening myself up to being receptive to that which I may not, have full enlightenment of. So
Yeah, and as it turns out, small world as it is, your mentor is a friend of mine, and certainly a very spiritually connected soul. So what's it been like to learn a little bit about AA and 12-step recovery for you so far?
On death row, they don't really have a lot of, they didn't have a lot of things, educational wise, and but because I already had some experience.
Oh, they don't have meetings there.
They don't have meetings. Most things there came through mental health, and that is taboo, as we know in life, and that's definitely in that type of world. A lot of people don't be associated with mental health to obtain the help or the assistance they need. But because I've had some glimpses of dealing with AA and NA throughout my youth, and being open to it, I would say this: everybody has a path that they take, and AA and NA is one of those things that people were tired, sick and tired of being tired, and in the life they were living was suicidal. It may not have been suicidal in the sense of cutting their wrists or putting a gun to their head, but the drinking, the drugs, the just disregard for their well-being, their health, chasing that drug, chasing that drink. It's a way of saving a life. It's a way of coming together with a community of people, whether you like or dislike. It's about saving your life. It's about the will to survive and overcome addiction, overcome pain, overcome suffering, no matter how and who caused the suffering. It is a way to collectively find yourself, to make amends, whether through God or through NA, the 12 steps, whatever it is. Some people, all the steps help them. Some people, it's only 1 or 2 steps that they grab hold to, and it gives them a way to overcome pain, overcome trauma, overcome abuse, and to find a spirituality, a oneness with the divine, and to become a better human being for themselves, for their kids, for their
I would say that's one of the best aspects about it. One of the best aspects is forgiveness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forgive yourself, you can forgive others, and be more find love and really enjoy your life. You know, it's like you said, I think I can't imagine what it must be like to be that long in a place that, you know, is so close to this idea of like life ends for you prematurely, and to be able to give it freedom from that space, it's like kind of like it is with the smoke, like it is with recovery, isn't it? Second chance at life.
Absolutely. Very, for me, AA and NA, you know, what I experienced, I met some of the most beautiful, humblest people that have struggled with life addictions, a life, you know, hardship, just pain and suffering and being ostracized, being misunderstood. These are some people I've met that genuinely care about me and have love for me, and my story has moved them. And just having a format to be able, and a platform to tell my story is helping them to understand that, look, no matter what you face in life, as long as you're breathing above ground, you have a chance, an opportunity to change the trajectory of your path.
Yes.
From addiction, from being in them streets, being homeless, being in whatever it is, now you have a chance to heal, to recover and restore your life to a place of tranquility and serenity. That's what that experience and I'm still experiencing is for me. Some of the beautiful souls and spirits that I've met, and it just gives me a drive to just like, look, my story is not the only story of struggle and pain and, you know, suffering, but we collectively have stories that we showing that victory is the outcome that you can have, and have love and have happiness and have joy and have peace and have success if you just apply yourself and believe in yourself and don't give up. Never give up.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's so funny. My dad, he has this picture of a pelican with a fish in his mouth or something, and it says "Never give up." But I still remember that just the actual statement, and don't give up. Such a big advocate for that perseverance. You know, it's really something that shows up as a result of the 10-step and 12-step program. You know, it's really the byproduct of that. You know, and it's beautiful. And there's so many beautiful spiritual principles that we all get to share together when we live together in a community like this, with doing the work together between conscious recovery and 12-step program meetings and sponsorships that happen, and alumni that come and participate in the retreats and the morning meditations and the, you know, house meetings and the dinners that we make together. You know, so what can you say, you know, has been your personal experience so far with all that here? And you don't have to say good just because it's me here,
in all sincerity,
really honest,
in all sincerity, you know, my thing for me is this. It wasn't so much for me personally that my disconnect with you know, things I tried along my life. It's that internal will that I had. I don't knock a person's process when it's successful for them, whether it's going to church, going to AA, NA, or just them having a will to just like, I need better, I want better, I desire better, and I will choose better. But far as just this process, like I said, it's opened up things of not just about alcohol and drinking, but it's the thinking, the mindset that you develop from pain, from abuse, from misunderstandings, from just things of being ostracized, from my own actions, not about just things that have happened to me. I'm talking about my own actions and things that I have done and committed in my life. And it's not about me confessing or making some type of opening to anybody about what these things I have done. It's about me and the divine, and acknowledging those things that I've done and bettering myself, and you bettering yourself. So for me, these steps, these programs, the daily reflections, it all has a way. Whether it's Buddhism you practicing, whether it's Islam, Christianity, whatever it is, the form of spirituality that you adapt to, whatever concept it is helping you. I don't knock that process because it's successful for you. It's helping you get to a better place to where you once derailed to. And that's what's important. But if it is AA, if it is NA, if it is recovery, if it is the steps, or whatever it is, then embrace it and allow it for you to be that stepping stone, that platform to have your peace and your happiness and your joy.
So I can see where you're coming from with that perspective being, my place is very eclectic in the way that I introduce a lot of different things to you guys at different times to see what you might like, right? What sticks.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody's gonna like the same thing. So different healers, different events, different, okay? But what I mean to ask is, like, what's been your personal good takeaway, like, or not? What has been your experience here?
My experience here has been, taking individuals
Because community is a big difference in living on death row. It's like you were isolated. So not like you were socialized. And you learn, I think you learn more about yourself in that. But
the personalities here, is like I said, we there's always yin and yang to anything and everything in life, to every program, every entity. But it's about taking that what you see, some of the personalities, the joys, the good, and just applying it. And just even some of the sound baths, the things that, that one has experienced. And just those things have been helpful to my connection to understanding that, okay, everything that I've been since I was born has led me to that path of understanding and growth in my spiritualness, in my presence, and understanding that why my purpose is still worthy and why I'm still here.
nice. Nice.
So I appreciate the environment, because like I said, everything has a yin and a yang,
That's a good
a
takeaway.
negative and positive. So I'm
Yeah.
embracing all that I've been experiencing. For me, keeping me positive, keeping me constructive,
Yeah.
and a path of good. So I'm humble.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've had guests come here and have talks with you and be so moved by you they want to support you financially, which is very unusual. Demetrius. Well, also you found his money and returned it, and he was really moved by that initially, but it was more than that. So he was like, "Wow, that guy's talking." Did he literally had to ask me, like, "Is he for real? Like, is that really true? Like, maybe like you, perhaps you could be making it up, like." And it's funny to me because I know your people, your caseworkers, your people that you've known, and I know you're for real. So and I know a lot of people that have pretty radical stories, and it's sort of funny to me when people like, wow, like, could it be true that someone could actually endure that? And yes, or be that really courageous to keep walking through.
It's a fire, the metaphor of fire, we know that it can be healing, it can be utilized to purify, it can be destructive, and we know can destroy homes, destroy lives, destroy your appearance, but it also is healing, just as water. The force of water can be soothing and comforting and cleansing, and also the force of water can be
Did you
destructive.
see what the sage just happened?
So,
we lit the sage, and then I put it in the house, and then it got to be a lot in the house, so one of my clients brought it on the table, but the wind kicked up, and it just, I think, with so much smoke that it set the fire alarm off in the house just now.
So,
It's like,
too much of anything
I
or
was
too
like,
less of anything.
My solution, obviously, take it to the water right away and to put it out, but yeah, the elements, and certainly it is windy in the desert, but too much of anything good even can be bad. My dad actually used to say that. He's like, it's true.
Struggle is real, and even with me, challenges of, I got blessed with a car, but the car, I don't know if it's a blessing or whatever, but the car is not working. It broke down. It's been one thing after another, trying to get it to run, to fix, so I can sustain myself from one place to another.
Audis are not cheap to fix, I will say.
Yeah,
because
and
I
so
have one too.
I don't have transportation, but it doesn't stop my drive to find a way.
Oh,
I
there's
mean,
always the
and-
public transportation.
and yes, I need a car. I want a car. Gotta have a car. But everything is about patience and just, and hopefully, it's not just a hope, but it's just when time will come and present itself to where I'll be back driving to get back and forth to school, to find work, and all these things. But,
all in God's time. Yeah, you
all in
must have
God's
learned a lot of patience.
Patience is
From
one of my
where
best
you're
friends.
coming from, and I can only imagine. I can't wrap my head around that kind of patience, but I suppose when we're forced to do something, we assimilate and do. But I'm thankful for this time with you. I'm thankful that you get to share with people, and I hope and I pray that something he said or that we shared in this conversation helps your day a little, or helps you later on when you reflect and you're like, oh wow, like that aspect of what was said is actually applicable right now. Let me see if that works, and then it works, right? And or anything positive that it may come from this, or I'm happy for this time shared.
I am too, and I appreciate
I'm just
it.
like, I want to make this world a better place. And when we went on that hike over there, you had expressed this, maybe wanting to go ahead and share your story on my podcast. So I'm thankful. We did it live too, so a little live fun for everyone. While they're scrolling, maybe they scrolled into something they weren't quite expecting and enjoyed. So yeah, and also, like, if you have a friend that may appreciate this story, pass it on, share. Sharing is caring. I'm a big proponent of that, actually. And yeah,
Words are powerful. Words are healing. Words are uplifting. They can be negative if you utilize them in that way, but try to allow your words to be uplifting and positive for somebody else. That's what I am a big preacher of when I do spoken word. I write poetry. It's about the upliftment of you, and that I see you and your worth and your value.
my grandma used to say, "From your lips to God's ears." That was, I appreciate that. Yeah, words can really, make a difference. You can make a difference. So let's all try to make a difference for the good. Make today a good day. And thank you again for joining us on Cielo Spiritual Foundation's Inspiring Interviews. So look us up, 4001. So Cielo Spiritual Foundation, 4001. Inspiring Interviews. Like, subscribe, share with a friend to support. I appreciate that. And this is again Michelle Garcia signing out. Have an amazing Tuesday.